It's funny how I keep finding more and more albums. I have far more than I ever thought I did. And it's so much fun to go through these, to reminisce about what a certain song connotes for me in past history, whether it was a year in the seminary or a time in a parish or a time from childhood. It really is fun to go through these albums. I know all of us are able to do that with certain music, that a song brings back so many memories. And there's something really timeless and powerful about music and its ability to capture events and memories in a certain way in our brains and in our bodies. So I hope you continue to go back through your own musical collections these days and savor all the good tunes that are out there. This album is from a very little known film, I'd say, by a group that I love. It's the Eurythmics soundtrack to 1984. This came out in, I think, 83 or 84, and it's mostly soundtrack music. David Stewart and Annie Lennox are great composers, so they had some good tunes on here. Of course, it's a very haunting sound. Some more dancey numbers, but most of it's pretty haunting, dark. The film starred John Hurt, who was a great actor, and the soundtrack really is evocative. It certainly conjures a certain dystopian worldview and a very dark time. On the other extreme, there is Supertramp, Breakfast in America. Lots of hits on this album, and lots of upbeat sounding songs. Goodbye Stranger, The Logical Song, let's see, Take the Long Way Home. Nice happy music and pretty fun music. It's been featured in a lot of film soundtracks, I know. Janet Jackson, Control. I love that song, When I Think of You. Control and Nasty are probably and What Have You Done For Me Lately. Those are probably the bigger hits from this album, but there's a nice smooth groove about the song When I Think of You. So it's the only Janet Jackson I own, actually. I think it was her debut album. Steely Dan Greatest Hits. You knew it had to happen. All the talking I do about Steely Dan. I have Asia somewhere, but this was a double album, being a greatest hits. They'd need at least 2 LPs. Look how thin Walter Becker is. That's just amazing how skinny he was. Anyway, lots of great songs on here. One that's on here that I've never come across on other albums, at least not that I know of, Here at the Western World. It might be on one of their later albums. I just haven't listened much to that. One of my favorite tunes on here, Any Major Dude. I think it's from Pretzel Logic, but it's a chorus you just can't shake once it's there. Lionel Richie, Can't Slow Down. It was a certain point in time, and Lionel Richie was all over the radio. Some good tunes on here, though, I have to say. Can't Slow Down, All Night Long, Penny Lover, Stuck on You. Love Will Find a Way might be one of my favorite songs on here, and probably was the least popular one, but Running with the Night. Some good songs by Lionel Richie. He definitely softened up from his days with the Commodores. Squeeze singles. Squeeze, this is old classic Squeeze. Lots of fun songs on here. Coffee in Bed, Black Coffee in Bed is the actual title. Tempted, but lots of good songs. Cool for Cats, Goodbye Girl, Up the Junction, Pulling Muscles from the Shell. Again, I saw him in concert last summer, and just so much fun. Great upbeat music. Crowded House debut album. Love Crowded House. I think everything else of theirs I have either on CD or in my Spotify library, but so many wonderful tunes from Crowded House. The very famous song, often remade song, Don't Dream It's Over, is on this debut album, written by the great songwriter Neil Finn, who was, I think he still is, a member of Fleetwood Mac, either just as a touring member or as part of the group now. But Something So Strong, wonderful song. Don't Dream It's Over, Crowded House, great pop tunes. Every time I see this album, I think I should listen to it. I never have gotten into it very much, but I know it's great music. Terence Trent D'Arby, introducing the hard line according to Terence Trent D'Arby. So If You Let Me Stay, Wishing Well, those were popular songs. A British soul singer, but it's well produced and great songs on there. I always think I need to get into it. Blancmange, Happy Families. I think I've featured another Blancmange, Mange Tout. This is an earlier one. I think this is their debut album. I actually bought this off of eBay because there's a song on here called Living on the Ceiling that I've always loved. It was a real haunting tune in the early MTV days, and the lead singer just has this kind of an eerie voice, and the hook is just this Middle Eastern sounding keyboard, and I love the song Living on the Ceiling. Last album of this set is by one of my favorite bands. I've told you before, I loved The Fix. It's funny, some of my favorite songs by The Fix are some of the slower ones, or maybe the less rock-oriented ones. And Read Between the Lines on this album, I think, is a really beautiful song. But Secret Separation, Treasure It, Walkabout, Camphor, typical Fix album, kind of a strange vibe, intentionally so. And as always, Cy Kernan's inimitable way of singing, and Jamie West Orm's cool guitar, and those haunting keyboards and great bass lines that are part of every Fix song in spades on this album.